Good afternoon or evening, depending on where you are. Now we are very excited to hear from our following speaker. His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami is one of the most senior spiritual masters and a governing body commissioner in the ISKCON Society. In 1977, Srila Prabhupada awarded him sannyas. He translated Srila Prabhupada's series of books into Bengali, created, wrote, produced, and directed the epic biographical video series Abhay Charan, developed dynamic temple programs and outreach projects in Ujjain, Madhya Pradesh, and Panihati, West Bengal. Although Maharaj attends many different projects and has many different responsibilities, he continues to guide and inspire devotees all over the world with his profound Shastric knowledge and sweet singing of devotional bhajans and his unalloyed devotion to Srila Prabhupada and ISKCON. Gurudev was always very close with His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami. Praising his purity and magnanimous nature, Maharaj generously took care of every aspect of Bhakti Tirtha Swami Samadhi after his departure. We look forward to hearing Maharaj's gem of wisdom concerning creating new memories with the spiritual master after their departure.
Hare Krishna. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunnavadi Paschata Deshatarine Bansha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhubhai Vacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much for giving me this opportunity to be with you all on this very special occasion. I can well imagine how important this day is to all of you, and you all have got together, and you are allowing us also to be with you all and share our memories, and not only the memories of the past, but we have to create newer memories also. Like, as you all know, the spiritual master manifests himself in two ways: in the form of his Vapu, physical form, and Vani, through his instructions. And Vapu form is temporary, but the Vani remains forever. The spiritual master is a tattva. He is there with the disciple. And first he manifests himself as the super soul, Krishna, wherever the living entity goes after rejecting him in the spiritual world and comes to the material nature. Although the living entity rejects Krishna, but Krishna never rejects him. Krishna always goes with him. And he's actually waiting when the living entity is going to turn towards him. He's waiting for that. Like, he doesn't want the living entity to suffer in this material nature. But due to his misconception that he can enjoy without Krishna, he can enjoy independently, gratifying his senses, the living entity actually invites more and more distresses and difficulties. And then when Krishna sees that the living entity has become sincere, then he actually sends the spiritual master. The spiritual master who is present, who is going to guide him individually, guide him like a concerned, well-wishing teacher. And that process is established, process is presented, and by following that process, we actually make spiritual advancement. For that matter, I will say that His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj has left a wonderful legacy in the form of his Vani. He wrote so many volumes of books, steeped with spiritual wisdom, steeped with inspiration, steeped with guidance. And it's just a matter of following those instructions. And that way, we always remain with the spiritual master. Spiritual master is never away. And that is a very, very important consideration. Like we have noticed, when the spiritual master is present on the planet, some individuals, some disciples become very, very enthusiastic in serving him, completely committed to him. But then we see when the spiritual master disappears, they actually drift away. And that is actually a very unfortunate thing to happen. I mean, but it's a reality. Like if you consider, Srila Prabhupada had about 10,000 followers, about 6,000 initiated disciples. But today when you look at ISKCON, where are they? Just a handful of them are actually here. And this is an unfortunate state of affair. And this we have to overcome. And the way to do that is by proper association. We have to remind each other. If we leave it up to individual to probe and tread the path, it will be difficult. And especially when this material nature is so strong, the allurement of the material nature is so strong, we tend to get carried away through this illusory energy of the Lord. And these are the challenges that we have to. And so when we look at Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj's achievements, so many wonderful achievements. He had been undoubtedly one of the most exemplary leaders of ISKCON. His commitment to Srila Prabhupada was unique, and his love for Srila Prabhupada was so exemplary. So to have such a wonderful leader in front of us is actually a sure sign of extreme good fortune. And we have to take advantage of that. We should not think that he left. He reasons ill who thinks that Vaishnava died. Vaishnava continues to live through his Vani and through his commitment to Krishna consciousness. And you all are very fortunate that you have such a wonderful spiritual master. And you all are, I'm sure you all are helping each other in your spiritual journey with your spiritual master in the center. And then Srila Prabhupada is showering his mercy upon you all. And so carry on in this way. Spiritual life is always new. is Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. Continuously it increases the joy, Ananda, Ambudhi, an ocean of ecstasy. Vardhanam, it continues to expand. It's never ever monotonous or boring. Materialistic life is boring, but spiritual life is always exciting, full of newness, full of challenges. And that's what makes the spiritual life so wonderful. So, and Srila Prabhupada has created a very wonderful society for all of us, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And we can see that it's because of this institution that our spiritual life is protected, irrespective of where we are, or wherever we go. Especially when I travel so extensively, I notice what a wonderful arrangement Srila Prabhupada had made for us. Wherever I go, I have my family, I have my relatives, I have my brothers and sisters and nephews and nieces. So this is such a wonderful creation of Srila Prabhupada. And this has a very important mission. And this is what we have to actually focus on Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj's achievements. He was so committed to spread Krishna consciousness. Wherever he went, that was his only concern, how to promote Krishna consciousness. And wherever he went, he got incredible response. He was a personality who was liked by all. He had such a wonderful personality, very charming, very sincere, very charismatic, and very vibrant. Like to be with him was like being in the spiritual world. Even when he was having physical difficulties, I saw he was never ever depressed. His spirit was always so high. And that way you can see that he was not in his bodily concept of life. He was in his pure spiritual consciousness. And that is what Krishna consciousness is. There are only two ways. Maya, or the world of sense gratification, or Krishna consciousness, service to Krishna. Just two options are open. When we are in Krishna consciousness, then Maya automatically disappears. We lose all interest for sense gratification. And that's why, once again, we have to have the association of devotees. So please make it a point to associate with each other. And now we are seeing this Zoom has been such a benediction. Like, irrespective of where we are, we can actually communicate with each other, like we are doing practically all over the world. We are communicating with each other. And let us consider our good fortune that we have such a wonderful spiritual guide like Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj. He set such wonderful examples with his own activities and achievements. And if we focus on that, then we will see like how wonderful the spiritual path is. And Prabhupada pointed out time and time again that it's a very systematic process. Just the process is simple. Like when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was instructing Srila Rupa Goswami, he just established that system very, very simply. He said, while the living entity is traveling in this material nature, in the universe, Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. Yeah, that is the role of a spiritual master. A living entity is traveling in this universe from different types of bodies, trying to enjoy through his sense gratification. But if fortunately he comes across a bona fide spiritual master, then bona fide spiritual master gives him Bhakti Lata Bij, the seed of creeper of devotion. This devotion has been compared to a creeper, like a plant. And when one gets that seed, then one must plant it in the field of the heart. And one must be careful that the field is properly prepared. Because if the field is not fertile, then the seed will not fructify. Therefore, we have to fertilize that field with Shraddha, with faith. With faith, Krishna is there, and we all are part and parcel of Krishna, and we all are coming from the spiritual world. This world is not the place where we belong. And that faith, and with that faith, let's plant that seed, and then the seed will fructify. And when the seed fructifies, two leaves manifest in two different ways. One is total cessation of suffering condition, kleshagni, and shubhada, appearance of all auspiciousness. So that is the immediate result of accepting devotional service properly. And then now the seed has sprouted into a seedling. So now it has to be watered. And how to water them? By hearing and chanting. By hearing and chanting. So these are the simple process. If we follow that process, it will work. And then the Bhakti Lata will start to grow. And it will penetrate through the coverings of the universe. It will come to the Brahma Jyoti. It will go beyond Brahma Jyoti, Vaikuntha, and then it will come to Golok. And in Golok, the Bhakti Lata will get the shelter of Krishna's lotus feet. A creeper needs solid support. Creeper cannot grow on its own. It needs a support. And then only it gets properly situated. And when the Bhakti Lata gets the shelter of Krishna's lotus feet in Golok Vrindavan, then the Bhakti Lata begins to flower and fruit. The flower of that Bhakti Lata is Bhava Bhakti, and fruit is the Prema Bhakti. It's such a simple and effective process. It doesn't take very much. All it needs is proper faith. All it needs is following the process properly by hearing and chanting. Hearing and chanting is important because that gives us the understanding of the spiritual reality. Otherwise, we may fail to recognize what the spiritual world is like. We may fail to recognize what will be the benefit going there. And when we read, then we become aware the the benefit, like Anandam Buddhi Varthanam Pratipadam Purnam Vitashvadanam. The ocean of ecstasy continues to grow. And it is actually a world of ecstasy, world of joy. Material nature is illusory. It gives us the allurement or false impression of enjoyment. But there is no enjoyment in the material nature. An example has been given in that respect, that when, say, we are seeing the reflection of a tree on a pool of water. In the pool of water, we are seeing the reflection of the tree, we are seeing the green leaves, we are seeing the fruits and flowers. And if you're hungry, we cannot really pick the fruits from there and quench our thirst or satisfy our hunger. So that is the meaning of illusory. It gives the impression of substance, but it is only a reflected impression. In reflection, the substance is not there. Therefore, we cannot get what we are actually aspiring to get from there. Therefore, we have to go to the right source. Here in the reflection, there is no fruits and flowers. But in the real tree, there is fruits and flowers. Otherwise, the reflection couldn't be there. And when you go to the real tree, yes, we can pick the fruits and eat it. We can pick the flowers and we can offer them to the Lord. So that is the reality. So we are actually approaching from the world of illusion to world of reality. Sattang Param Dhimahi, the absolute truth, ultimate truth. And that is the goal of life. And Acharyas, illustrious spiritual masters like His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, so elaborately has given all the informations of that reality. And let us take full advantage of this wonderful good fortune that He has created for us. Please remember that He wrote so many books just for your benefit, just for our benefit. Let's take advantage of that and never ever think that He left. He is there. He is there. And when we become purified from the material contamination, then yes, we will be able to enter into the spiritual world. And in the spiritual world, we'll have His association. All these spiritual personalities will be there. This is a world of absolute reality. It's not some sort of concocted ideas. It's a science. And time again, we have seen how systematically this process has been established. Like it's a science. Who can ever deny the existence of soul? But unfortunately, in today's world, in the name of science, people are introducing all kinds of misconceptions, and as a result of that, the whole world has become so atheistic and misdirected and suffering. So we have a very important responsibility. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave the instruction, whoever you see, just speak to him about Krishna. It doesn't matter how effective you may be. If you simply know that Krishna is God, if you have the full faith that Krishna is God and you are His parts and parcels, living entities are Krishna's eternal part and parcels, and they're we all are coming from the spiritual world, and our destination is to go back. And we found the process to go back to the spiritual world. And we can make our life successful. And Prabhupada pointed out that when you practice the process, you're already liberated. We do not have to separately hanker or aspire for liberation. We are already liberated. Prabhupada gives an example, like in a prison, the criminals are being punished. But in the prison, those who are serving the king, although they are in the prison house, they are not criminals. They are not prisoners. They are king's men. Similarly, when we become engaged in serving Krishna, then we become Krishna's men. And then we have only one responsibility: how to make the suffering conditioned souls become aware of the spiritual destination and achieve the ultimate goal of life. In other ages, this process was very, very difficult. This process was actually ascending process from Karmakanda section to Gyanakanda section. Then after Gyanakanda, after achieving perfection in yoga, they used to come to the platform of devotional service. It was a gradual elevation, ascending process. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us a descending process. It has given us, like directly to us. We didn't have to achieve yogic perfection and philosophical perfection. Like, it's just a matter of practicing the process that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave, and directly devotional service. And the process is just chant the holy name of the Lord. The Lord himself has given the process. So let us just take advantage of this process and inspire others also to accept the process wholeheartedly. And this is how this Krishna consciousness movement is going to spread all over the world. We have a very, very important responsibility. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted that this Krishna consciousness movement is going to spread all over the world, in every town and village. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his words are not going to go in vain. It's bound to happen. It's bound to happen. The consideration is how we are going to become engaged in that wonderful mission, wonderfully magnanimous mission. And so this is how we can actually take advantage of this wonderful process. And this is how we can actually show our sincere gratitude to His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj. And we, at a time like this, I just feel like telling you, if there is anything I can do, please don't hesitate to let me know. If there is any way I can help you, so please don't hesitate to let me know. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So, does anybody have any question?
Can we just request that your questions are put in the chat room, please, rather than unmuting yourself? So, Krishna Shakti, if you could continue.
Thank you very much, Maharaj. Very exciting, enlivening as we reflect on Gurudev's pastimes and how he was able to serve Chaitanya's mission and Prabhupada's mission, and how every day should be basically a living miracle and things should be happening and manifesting, because Krishna consciousness is exciting if we actually delve into it. So our first question that we're going to ask everyone that participates is, given the current climate with the COVID pandemic and the social, political, racial strife in America, and also globally, what message do you think Guru Maharaj would say during these times of trials and tribulations?
Yeah, you see, nothing happens by chance or accident. It is said that when we do not know the reason, then we say it is accident. Nothing happens by chance. And we don't really have to go very far. Just consider so many cows and so many animals are being slaughtered. And how can we expect that there won't be any reaction? And we are seeing that the human civilization, they're so proud of their achievements. Just some microbes brought this whole human civilization to a standstill. So that shows, and that actually should make us serious about our involvement in this world and try not to do the wrong thing and tell people to do the right thing. And it is, in a way, it's fortunate that it could have been so much worse. Like, just consider, had there been a war as a reaction of those sinful activities, what would have happened to this world? I mean, but world is not really suffering so much. I mean, it came to a standstill, but life goes on, people are not suffering so much. Yes, they're getting affected by the contagion, but many people are recovering. Not that many people are actually dying. So it's a warning, like, let's wake up with the warning. And we must take advantage of this. Like, preach to people, please stop eating meat. And, like, you can consider, like, all these terrible diseases are coming from meat. But not a single disease developed from vegetable. Not a single disease actually developed from vegetable. So that actually shows. And so let's wake up and let's prepare ourselves. And as much as possible, let us try to educate people and tell them that, look, stop eating meat. And there are so many ideas or so many research concepts are coming out. Like, I just read the other day that this coronavirus is actually affecting individuals, those who have animal fat in their body. That means those who are eating animal flesh, they are susceptible to the contagion. And so let's become aware of all that. And like, this is the beginning. We should not think that this is the end. People are hoping against hope that everything will become perfectly all right. And now the world is going to become normal again. But who knows? And one thing is that we notice, you must have also noticed that not many devotees actually got affected by coronavirus. The countries have been devastated, like Italy, Spain, and USA, India. But very few, practically negligible number of devotees have been affected by the virus. And only place that we had some tough time is UK, and that was due to some, I would say, unfortunate happening, like we didn't realize that it could happen. But most of them have recovered. About 97 devotees got affected. Only 2 died, and rest of them recovered. And so, yeah, let us take shelter of Krishna. We know one thing, that if Krishna wants to protect, then who can kill us? And if Krishna wants to kill us, then who can save us? So let's just depend upon Krishna. And, that is the meaning of surrender. Whatever you want, just do it. Do with me. I am yours, and do whatever. And as long as I am active, as long as I am capable, please allow me to spread your glory. Please allow me to spread Krishna consciousness. That's our only prayer.
Oh, thank you, Maharaj. Okay, so in continuation, there's another question that is asking about why devotees still suffer, and how do we know our relationship with the spiritual master is getting stronger?
Yes. As we pray every day, that is the secret of success. Guru Mukho Padmo Bhakya Chittete Koriya Oikko Arna Koriya Mone Asha. Just accept the instruction of the spiritual master wholeheartedly. And do not aspire or do not hope for anything else. That should be our life's mission. We found a spiritual master who is guiding us so wonderfully, and who had been guiding us, and who is still guiding us, and he will continue to guide us, provided we remain faithful to him. He is there. He is there. In our heart, a spiritual master is there. So we should never think that he is not there. So with that full conviction, we must continue to serve him and follow his instruction. He has given us so many instructions. He has established so many wonderful examples. Like, I didn't get into that because I'm sure others have also discussed about that. The way Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj committed himself in Prabhupada's mission, the kind of risk that he has taken, to spread Krishna consciousness in very, very difficult areas. And Srila Prabhupada appreciated him so much for that. And when Prabhupada met him in London, Prabhupada started to cry, remembering his dedication to him. And I remember Prabhupada used to wait for Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj's letters from behind the Iron Curtain. And he used to give such wonderful narrations of his adventurous exploits in those very dangerous situations. Like, he's indeed a hero, a real warrior, spiritual warrior. And we are so fortunate to have such a wonderful devotee within us. We have been blessed by his wonderful presence, and he is always there. He will always be there. And let that be the guiding factor, the source of inspiration for all of us.
Jai. We are continuing in this line of thinking, and there's a devotee that is from New Orleans, and they've asked, they wanted to make a statement that they have been asked to speak on behalf of the Interfaith Coalition, on behalf of the Hare Krishnas at a memorial prayer service to honor Black lives lost in police brutality, and given 3 minutes to speak, and they're asking for your guidance.
So will they speak first, or should I go straight? It's anyway, I'll just go straight to the point. Like, you see, it's so unfortunate, like, to be, so cruel, so brutal, so inhuman, simply on being in the bodily platform. And that, like, I mean, natural, the whole world is enraged. Like, here's a person who was unarmed. There are 4 policemen. He was already pinned down. So why still torture him? And when he is crying that he cannot breathe, and for 8 minutes they just continued to press. And I hope that this kind of incidents is going to change the world situation. I think people have to seriously start considering, like, why all this? Why can't we deal with each other with love, care, and compassion? Just, racial discrimination based on pigmentation of skin, and it's so unfortunate. And that's not human civilization. That's not even animal civilization. It's even worse than animal civilization. And I hope that something will happen, and the police should be there to protect people, not to brutally treat people. And like, that is the purpose of police: give protection. And it is so unfortunate, like, that on the bodily platform, like white and black, and this race or that race, this religion, that religion. So the only solution actually is Krishna consciousness. And it will take a long way, but at least we can start moving towards the right direction. And like, let us create a proper awareness of our loving relationship. We all are children of Krishna. We all are spirit souls. So why are we making all these discriminations? And now, I do not know how it is going to happen, but at least we can say, let's start somewhere. Let's start somewhere. Even if it's a baby step, let's start somewhere and give people the right understanding. This, yeah, like, I hope all these unfortunate happenings will come to an end, and let us, establish Krishna consciousness properly, and that will create the right spiritual atmosphere, and there everyone will be happy.
Thank you so much.
Because again, Yes, please.
No, continue, please.
Yeah. Right. Like, and like Kali Yuga is actually the age of quarrel and, dissension, and on just some trivial issues, they're inflamed and see so much brutality, so much violence, so much harm. And let us spread our love. And this is also, again, I'll go back to Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj. He was always promoting the culture of love. And that is the secret, actually. With love, we have to conquer hatred. And Krishna consciousness is that love. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. So we have several questions in line. Was there any aspect of the preaching style and method of His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Swami that you especially appreciated? And given the changes in the world since his physical departure, what do you think his focus would be in 2020?
Yeah. You see, he was focused on the mission. Like wherever he went, he just was completely focused. And I have seen many times he had been misunderstood, mistreated. But at the same time, I have seen, like, although he was hurt, sometimes he shared it with me. But at the same time, he was not affected by that. Like he just felt what to do. Like it is. And so that is the thing, like he's so committed. That's commitment is the most important thing. Like we have a mission, and let us commit ourselves to that mission, and let us motivate others and facilitate others. That's what Maharaj was doing all the time. He would motivate them, the followers, and he would facilitate them, and he would guide them. And that's how he achieved so much. And the thing is that, as I mentioned, like Krishna consciousness is actually a culture of love. And Maharaj displayed it in a most wonderful way. He wanted to conquer everything, all the negativity through this positivity of love. I never seen him speak bad about anybody. He always appreciated everyone. And if he could not appreciate, then he was silent. And so it happens what to do. And I wish he was here at a time like this. I think Maharaj's presence was very, very important. He could have really given a proper guidance, proper leadership. And he was not at all in the bodily platform. He was always beyond the bodily designation and acted on the platform of spirituality, commitment to Krishna consciousness, commitment to his loyalty to Srila Prabhupada and his mission.
Definitely. So what is the quality in Bhakti Tirtha Swami that you admire the most, and what is your one of your favorite pastimes with him?
Well, it is a little personal thing. Maharaj was quite hurt the way some devotees treated him. He even went to our leaders for justice, but it was not properly dealt with. And he was hurt, but at the same time, he just took it in a right spirit, with a proper attitude. And he said that, well, it's making me more humble. It is forcing me to become more tolerant. And that is the wonderful quality that I have seen in Maharaj. Always so humble, so tolerant, and accepting every situation in such Krishna consciousness, like putting Krishna in the center. And that is what spiritual life is. Like the material nature, whatever is happening, these conflicts and things, these are just the conflict of karmic reactions. That's what he was actually telling me. These conflicts are actually the conflicts of karma. But they'll pass. And whether I'm treated rightly or wrongly, Krishna is watching. Krishna knows. And that's what really matters. How Krishna is seeing me. Not how the world is treating me, but how Krishna is seeing me. And that was a wonderful recollections I have from that very difficult situation, I must admit.
All right, the next question is, Respected Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to your divine feet. How to be very strongly connected to one's spiritual master if one receives only Vani, association of one's spiritual master, and not Vapu Sangha. I, being not such a devotee to become strong just by Vani association, I feel that the need of Vapu association. Thank you very much.
Yeah. As I pointed out, like the attachment to Vapu is the neophyte stage, and attachment to Vani is in an advanced stage. And Vani means not just, like I would suggest, like read Maharaj's books. Note down the important points that you find there, and then broadcast it to others. Things that you have considered to be important, present it to others. So this is how you are actually going to serve as Vani. Like, always remember, spiritual life is not a sentimental thing. It's a business. Vyavasayatmika buddhi is business. And it's a way to practice it, a proper way of practicing it. So, and if we practice it properly, the result will automatically be there. And so that is how we have to actually focus on Vani. We should never think that he's gone. Rather, we should see that how he's still guiding me, how he is still inspiring me, and how he is still motivating me, and just follow it in that way. And main thing is that, what you appreciate, you broadcast. That is how Shravanam, Kirtanam. Kirtanam is very, very important. So Vani has to be Shravanam and Kirtanam. First you accept, and then you broadcast. And that is how you show your appreciation to your spiritual master's Vani.
Thank you. All right, the next question. As Srila Prabhupada disciples, how did you cultivate such loving relationships between each other as God brothers and sisters? How do you resolve conflict when you had different views, even on spiritual subject matters? Thank you.
Yeah. Well, focus on the main objective. Say, for example, Prabhupada said, your love for me will be shown by how you cooperate with each other. So let that be the focus. Like, it is not easy to cooperate. You know, if it was easy, then Prabhupada wouldn't have given us such a challenge. Your love for me will be shown by how you cooperate with each other. Cooperating is very, very difficult. And so that's why, you know, we have to show, for the sake of our love for Srila Prabhupada, we have to cooperate. And even if there is differences, and it is not that we don't run into differences, you know, in course of our preaching, course of our management, course of our activities. But, you know, like we have, Prabhupada has given us a proper structure. And, you know, we have to accept that structure of line of authority and let them resolve if there are any differences. So that is how I think we have to resolve our differences. Like, it's not that there won't be differences. We do face differences. I'm sure you also face differences. So, but, you know, like with a higher objective, we have to overcome that.
Definitely. Excellent. All right. So we have several questions. The next one is, there's a question about, okay, I believe Maharaj said devotees are liberated, but we still can come back again. So what does liberated mean?
Liberated means that not entangled by the karmic reactions. Like, karmic reactions are not, you know, going to affect us. Like being completely under, say, for example, material nature. So let's consider the prison house. The prison house is meant for the criminals to be punished, prisoners to be punished. But those who are serving the king as his employees, although they are in the prison, but they are not prisoners. Also, when somebody surrenders to the king, like, although he is in the prison house, although he may have been the prisoner, but because he surrendered to the king actually tells the authorities, watch this person, he seems to be rectifying himself. So don't punish him, rather guide him and see how he is doing. And then eventually, you know, when he acts properly, they make him a role model for others, prisoners also, to follow his example. So he's not being punished anymore in the prison. He is treated, you know, like a very special personality, free from the suffering condition. So that is the thing, like, when one takes to Krishna consciousness, one becomes free from the suffering condition of this material nature.
Definitely. Excellent. Okay, so we have a couple questions that we're going to actually try to combine here together. So when talking about Bhakti Tirtha Swami, he pushed for better treatment and protection of women and children while on the planet. How do we address this in our movement in order to help moving forward? And then there's another question that is talking about in ISKCON, at times it remains to appear aloof in such social issues rather than actively, deliberately engaging to confront them. Should ISKCON actively engage? Should we as disciples of ISKCON and Bhakti Tirtha Swami actively engage? And most importantly, how?
Well, you know, the thing that comes to my mind straight away is I wish Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj was here right now. Then probably we would have been able to deal with those issues more efficiently and effectively. Like, you know, like, I don't know, like, I mean, as I was saying, like, I miss him, you know, like, because the vision, the wisdom, the dynamism, and that he had, our movement is lacking it today. I'm just being very straightforward. I mean, I wish we could be more involved in dealing with those issues, you know? Like how to create a society where we are situated on the basis of love and trust, and we are you know, like creating the proper environment because, you know, like taking care of children and taking care of women, these are the two most important things in the society. And if we fail to do that, you know, that means we are failing. And as a result of what is happening, you know, like they're demanding, this is our right, that's our right, and it's just going on, you know, unfortunate conflict. And anyway, I mean, that would be my simple answer to that, you know, like, anyway, as I said, let's try to do something. Those who are like-minded individuals, let's all get together and let's try to do the right thing for the benefit of this world. We have nothing to gain here. We are here simply to benefit the world. That's about all we want. Personally, we have nothing to gain.
Definitely. Maharaj, thank you so much for your reflections and realizations and sharing your time with us. We really appreciate this opportunity and feel really blessed to be actually able to be with you all online. So thank you so much, Maharaj. I'm going to turn it over to Chit.
Thank you so much.
Maharaj.
His Holiness Bhakti Swami Maharaj ki
Jai.
Bhakti Maharaj's 15th disappearance day celebration ki jai. Srila Prabhupada jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari.
So Maharaj, thank you so much again. I wanted to share some announcements, but actually it's so wonderful that you're with us. And I want to tie a question in with one of the announcements. So actually, just to everybody, those of you who may be joining for the first time and those of you who have been on for the other sessions, as you know, we have been, as an offering to Gurudev on this 15th anniversary, been trying to raise the funds to be able to acquire his house completely as a gift to him, so paying off the mortgage. And we have in 12 days raised 3/4 of what we need, 75%. And Bhakti Charu Swami has been a big well-wisher and force in encouraging us to raise this. Maharaj, I just wondered if you wouldn't mind sharing a few words as to why, as disciples and well-wishers, the legacy of Gurudev's house. For you, your understanding.
I'm sorry.
Did you?
HH Shakti, I couldn't hear you.
Okay. I was hoping that perhaps you could share, if you don't mind, some of your insight on the significance of preserving the spiritual master's home and base.
Spiritual master's
home.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you're talking about Gita Nagari Maharaj's?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we've been trying to, as you know, we've been trying to raise the funds to offer it to him as a gift, and we're 3/4 of the way there. But a lot of that's been done with your encouragement and enthusiasm, and I just was hoping that you could share some thoughts on why, for us as disciples and well-wishers, why that home is so important, why that place, that tirtha, is so important.
Yeah. Well, the spiritual master's home is a place of pilgrimage for us. So we should always try to protect that place and have this place as a place of pilgrimage. And and I think it's, we have gone quite a, 3/4 has been achieved, and so I think, it will happen. So whatever the shortfall, it'll be covered. Don't worry.
Thank you for sharing that with us, and thank you so much for being with us. As Krishna Shakti mentioned, you were always very, very dear to Gurudev. He would always speak about how magnanimous and pure you were, how you were always so kind to him. He had so much affection for you. I remember him saying one time, "Oh, Bhakti Charu Swami, he's a gem." He had so much love, and he gave us so much love and support when Gurudev was on the planet, and since then as well. And how involved you were without hesitation, with arranging Gurudev Samadhi. And whenever we come to you for anything, even when we make mistakes or we leave gaps in approaching you, you're always open-hearted and you're always really kind. So we're really, really grateful to you. Honestly, that we feel Gurudev's presence through you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank all of you. Hare Krishna. So I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj. All glories to the assembled devotees.
So devotees, I'm just going to share the lineup for tomorrow. Here we go. So this is the lineup for tomorrow. We're so happy, so many devotees are joining. Those of you who can't get on the Zoom call, or if you have friends who can't get on the Zoom call, you can go to Inter-IFAST's Facebook page. And if you are coming on Zoom, the code and the password is exactly the same. Tomorrow we have 3 wonderful speakers and 3 wonderful topics all around appreciating Bhakti Tirtha Swami. And we're kicking off in the morning, and the timings are there on the poster, but we're going to put it to UK time at 11 o'clock in the morning here in the UK. We will be hearing from His Holiness Satchidananda Swami, who will be speaking about Bhakti Tirtha Swami's mood and mission, followed by, in the afternoon, at 2 o'clock UK time, we will have the wonderful Chandramali Swami. I know Chandramali Maharaj was with us earlier in the call. I don't know if he's still with us, but Maharaj, if you're there, thank you so much. We're really looking forward to your session. And he will be sharing some things from Gurudev's final beggar book, Beggar 4, which was all his reflections and prayers in his final year. And so Maharaj will be speaking about Gurudev's mood. And last but not least, we will be hearing from His Holiness Radhanath Swami at 6 p.m. UK time. And he will be speaking about the life and legacy of Srila Gurudev. And in addition to Inter-IFAST live streaming, all the sessions tomorrow, we'll also have Radha Gopinath Temple live streaming in the evening. The link should be in the chat room now. And those of you who maybe want to take shelter of the books more, have struggled to get hold of the books, through the hard work of Jayananda Prabhu, we have all of Gurudev's books now available, not just on Kindle, but also Amazon Print on Demand. So wherever you are in the world, you can get a print copy within a few days. And we also have, through the consistent enthusiasm and hard work of Nanda Sinu Prabhu, who's been doing all the technical stuff on this call. He's been, serving by doing Gurudev's website design, running it, everything since 2004. And he has recently just revamped it, made it look very slick and beautiful. So appreciation to him. Also, please do check it out, btswami.com. Again, it's in the chat room. So we're looking forward to being with all of you tomorrow. Videos will be uploaded on the YouTube page as well. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. All glories to Bhakti Tirtha Swami. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.